When me and my wife first got saved, she signed up to go on a prison ministry trip with some women from our church. And I remember I stayed home and watched our kids while she went and shared her testimony. And she came home from this trip and she was on fire. And I mean, wouldn't stop talking about it, wouldn't leave me alone about it. And she was like, look, the next time we go, and I was like, slow down. I was like, what do you mean we? I was like, I'm not going. And she was like, yeah, you are. And you're gonna take a guitar and sing some of these songs you've been writing. And I was like, man, I don't know. Well, she signed me up and I went. And I realized that, one, when your wife wants you to do something, you go do it. But more importantly, and when God's put something on your heart that he wants you to be a part of, a lot of times he just wants to hear you say yes. And I've learned over the years, the biggest reason why we say no is because we don't feel qualified to go. And in case you guys have forgotten, God's been qualifying unqualified people for a long time to go do his work. And so I took a guitar and my wife went in and we just shared this story of what God had done in our marriage and in our life with these women in this prison. And when it was all coming to an end that night, we gave a little invitation and I played a song. I had my eyes closed. And I looked up and I remember there were about 35 women giving their lives to the Lord. And I was like, wow, never experienced that. I'd never been a part of anything like that. And I remember thinking, man, this is crazy. And I remember God going, Zach, these are the songs, these are the places, these are the people, this is where I want you, this is what I want you to do. He was like, if you need an aha moment, here it is. So we started doing prison ministry. A year later, I started working for that church and we launched a campus. And I remember when we first launched that campus, our core group of memberships were like people from Celebrate Recovery and Jumpstart Ministries and John 316 and faith-based rehabs. And I was like, man, this is awesome, you know? And people who had been offended or never really felt like they fit in church, it felt like outsiders, you know? It felt like people that, you know. And I got to know these people and I got to realize, like, man, our stories are so similar. There's so many people out there just like me that have a story and have a song, you know? And a few years after that, I was invited to Nashville to write some music. And I'll be honest, I was on a week-long trip to Nashville. I was ready to come home. It was Friday. I was like, I'm ready to come home and see my family. I was burned out. I didn't think I had anything left in the tank, anything to say or write. And I shared that story with a couple other people who at the time were strangers, but have now become some of my best friends. And I remember sharing that story, and Mia, the girl that co-wrote the song with me, she looked at me and she said, you know what you need to do? And I was like, what? She said, you need to write a song called Chainbreaker. And I was like, what? I thought that was the coolest title. So Jonathan starts playing the piano, and when he starts playing it, I just said, you've been walking the same old road for miles and miles. And he kind of looked at me, and I looked at him, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, what was that? And I was like, well, it was one of those songs where, man, God was all over it. He was in that room, and within 15 minutes, we just let God do what he did. He wrote that song for us, and I remember driving back to Arkansas with this prayer that God would take that song all over the world. And it's been a little over 6 years now, and I've had the opportunity every night to come out and sing songs and tell my story. And I just want you guys to know it's not something that I will ever take for granted. I'm so grateful to be here. And I want to thank y'all so much for being here tonight. Would y'all like to sing this song?